I was working on this book for 3 years, half of which Elon was cooperating and half of which he wasn't. I guess I wanted to get to this point where he wasn't a caricature. So I wanted to get a little bit more about kind of where he came from, so I really dug into his childhood and went and talked to kids he went to elementary school with and high school. I got a sense of, he was definitely a loner growing up and didn't have any really close friends. Picked on pretty badly to the point that a couple times he was bullied and kicked down a flight of stairs. A tough relationship with his dad. And so you start to see okay, this is a guy who wants to kind of prove himself and make his mark on the world. And I got a lot of that from his family and friends, but Elon, he was great talking to me about the companies and technology and stuff, but I don't think he ever fully opened on all his, he tells you some of his inner workings, but not everything. I think Elon and Steve Jobs are sort of similar in how much they push on their employees, how much they pay attention to the details of their companies. He probably gets more out of his employees than any other person on the planet by purely sort of giving them these missions where they're willing to work ungodly amounts of hours, setting the bar really high to the point that if they only sort of get halfway there, they've already accomplished a lot. It's kind of one thing to hear that somebody is the CEO of 2 companies and that he works 20 hours and then it's another thing to start getting emails from him at 3 in the morning. Ultimately, he seemed a little bit more like an Edison type of figure to me in that he is able to get all these cool ideas from these guys and help them shepherd them into products. And I think sometimes, I think people really do kind of underestimate how many things Tesla and SpaceX have actually invented, as opposed to him just integrating technology that already exists. And so it was a little bit more like an Edison lab, whereas I think Apple sometimes just takes the best of what's out there and arranges it much better than what other companies have done. We're still waiting for the cheaper car that the masses can buy. We're waiting to see the reusable rocket that changes the economics of space forever. I'd say he thinks he's a success on a lot of levels. I would say if he doesn't get to Mars, or there's not some sort of the early stages of a colony, I think he would think that was a failure, but I think he thinks he's on his way there. So, from a physical standpoint, they will get a rocket to Mars. I thought when I asked Elon if he wanted to be the first guy on that first ship, he would sort of say yes, and he denied it. He's I don't want to die or be there until I know this whole vision has a chance to succeed. And I do think if it looked like there was a civilization that was starting to form there, I actually do think he would go.